Now that you've made your inferences on Bru's bad day, and you've highlighted the key points of what's happened in the story, it's time to organize your writing. And remember, if any time during this video you need to stop it, you can, and then just come right back. So the first thing that you'll need is a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. The paper will sit long ways on your desk, and then you'll make 2 folds in the paper so that you can create 3 equal sections. Once you do that, you'll label each of your sections with 3 headings. The headings are Summary, Response, and My Life. Once you've written these sections, then you'll want to number down each column to the number 10. So you'll start on the summary and you'll number from 1 to 10, and then you'll go to the response and you'll number from 1 to 10, and then you'll do the same thing for My Life. You'll have 3 paragraphs in your response to literature, and each will be 8 to 10 sentences. So this should give you plenty of information to be able to write. The first column that you'll fill out is the summary. And on the summary, you'll want to use 3 keywords for each number. So for example, the first thing that I highlighted in Bru's bad day was that he was thinking about something else and he dropped 3 of his best dishes on the floor. So if I were to summarize that in 3 words, I would say he was distracted and he dropped dishes. And you want to remember that in this summary, you're just telling what happened. You're not including any of your inferences. And then on to the next paragraph, I noted that he threw a tantrum and then he yelled and pounded his fists. So you want to stay to about 3 or 4 words. So you'll want to summarize each of the main things that happened throughout the story until you get to number 10. Once you finish your summary, then you're going to want to move to the response. And when you get to the response, then your job is to include the inferences that you wrote in the margin. So when I highlighted he was thinking about something else and dropped 3 of his best dishes, some of the words that I wrote that I inferred were that he was nervous, he was distracted, and he was upset. So you want to write those words on the number 1 in the response section. On number 2, where he threw the tantrum and yelled and pounded his fists, I inferred that he overreacted. And then I included a quote from the story where it shows that he overreacted. I included the quote, "He pounded so hard that he cracked the table." You will want to include at least 3 quotes in your response column from the story that show what you've inferred. So please write at the bottom of the response column and use 3 quotes. And then if we're backing up a little bit on the summary, remember that at the bottom of the summary you want to write the word lesson so that you include what you think the lesson of the story was. Next, you're going to include your life. So what you'll want to do is include something that you can relate to that is similar to the response and the summary. So for example, what I put is, well, I remember that time that I failed a test and it really put me in a bad mood and I did some things that I really regretted doing. Or one time that you may have lost your temper and pounded your fists like Bru did might have been a time when your dog ran away and you couldn't find him and you were frustrated. Please continue this until you have at least 8 to 10 on each column of this foldable. When you're done, you'll be ready to write your story.